Welcome to the channel, guys. So in this video I'm going to be doing a garage update of the collection of cars. We are currently at 6 cars in the collection. The keen-eyed will actually spot there is a car missing, which is unfortunate as it is the only true supercar of the bunch is actually missing. So in this video I'm going to go around each of the 6 cars, well 5 because one's missing, and tell you about each one, tell you how long I've owned each one, what issues there have been if any, and the rough running cost per year of each car, and how I'm enjoying them and or what I'm not enjoying about them. So without further ado, let's crack on with this garage update video. So I'm just gonna come down. Right, so we'll start with the latest edition, shall we? Which is the new Gen 2 GR Yaris. So we've literally had this car now for about a month, maybe just over a month. It's the new Gen 2 GR Yaris. There are lots of videos on my channel about this car. It's a big improvement on the Gen 1. If you want to find out more about the Gen 2 Yaris, go and watch those videos. There's plenty of them on there. We've done just shy of 1,000 miles. It cost me £45,170 to buy brand new from Toyota because I was one of the ballot entries and I got a confirmation, so I'm very happy about that. I was initially going to sell the car straight away because I'd had keen offers for overs, but as I say, I drove it and yeah, it was a surprise how much better it was than the Gen 1. So do go and watch all the videos I've made about the car. There are plenty of them. So now let's look away from the sun. Now the Alpine A110. We purchased this car in February of this year on 2,200 miles. The car is now on about 8,000-ish miles now, so we've done a good 6,000 miles in the car. I've done around 3 track days in the car. It's absolutely amazing. The true thing that comes through in the Alpine is just how lightweight it is, and you really feel the lack of weight in this car. Hey, the A110S, it weighs 1,100 kilos, and that's with a tank of fuel. That's how light it is. It's 300 horsepower. Quoted at 4.2 seconds, 0 to 60. We've seen as low as 3.9 seconds. Really quick car. There's been no issues with it. Road tax is £550 a year. MPG commuting is 25 to 30 MPG. On a long run, you can easily achieve 40 plus. We've even been knocking on the door at 50 miles to the gallon in this. When you're driving it more spirited on a B road, you can expect low 20s. So it's very economical, so it's very cheap to run from a perspective of putting fuel in. Road tax is a bit expensive for the first 5 years. Being a new luxury car, it falls under that tax. So you pay £550 a year, which on the 6th birthday will drop to £190 per year to tax. So anyone thinking of buying an A110, if you buy one that's on a 17 or an 18 plate, you will be paying the cheaper tax bracket. It's been perfectly reliable. No issues really, apart from a minor issue where the driver's seat will squeak sometimes. So that's the A110S. As I say, there are videos on my channel of this car. It's a very, very well optioned spec. This would cost £84,000 in today's money to spec. It cost the first owner £77,000, and I bought this car 18 months old with 2,200 miles for £52,000. Quick look inside. It's got the micro suede interior package, which I think on the A110S is an absolute must. It feels so nice. It really uplifts the interior massively. Being a 22, we've got wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. Yeah, it's a very nice place to be. It's very quick. Handles amazing because it doesn't weigh anything, and of course it's rear-wheel drive with the 1.8 litre engine out of the McLaren RS. That's the A110. I'll just very briefly show you inside the new GR Yaris. But as I say, there are a lot of videos on my channel of this car. So if you want more details on it, feel free to go and watch those videos. It has very nice, comfy, sculpted seats. You've got the dash there, that's a big talking point. I personally love the dash. And that's not really quite as nice inside as the Alpine, but it's fit for purpose. And you do have back seats and a usable boot, whereas the Alpine's got 2 small boots. So yeah, that's the GR Yaris Mark II, which to say we've owned for less than a month. Road tax on this will also be £550 a year, because again, it was over the £40,000 price bracket. So that's going to attract £550 road tax for the next 5 years, which is a shame, because the Gen 1 Yaris was £190 per year because it was under the 40k bracket. MPG wise, not quite as good as the Alpine, but not far behind. On a run, you'll do 35 to 40 unless you're cruising at 80 plus, in which case you're going to achieve probably about 29 to 31 if you're cruising at over 80 mile an hour. On a country road, it's pretty evenly matched with the Alpine fuel wise. Between the Alpine and the GR, I have a video comparing the two directly on my channel, so go and watch it. I will put some links to videos at the final screen at the end of this video, with links to reviews about these cars, that's more in detail. So let's go crack on now with the Audi R8. This for me has got under my skin. I think it helps that it's a really rare R8 in specification, and what I mean about that, again, I apologize for the glare of the sun. I'm just going to briefly show you the front of the car, and then I'm going to go out of the glare. But this car, brand new, was about £102,000, and that was back in 2009, because this is a full Audi exclusive spec. What I mean about that, well, first of all, you won't see many Gen 1 Audis or many Audis in velvet purple. I think there's literally a handful of Gen 1 velvet purple R8s, and on the newer Gen 2, even though there are a few velvet purples, the majority are Merlin purple. Velvet purple has a blue pearlescent, whereas Merlin purple has more of a pink pearlescent. And that's the other massive positive about the R8 interior. We've got beautiful dials, it's leather everywhere, it being an Audi exclusive spec car. And you look down here, and you can see Audi exclusive. So you've got purple extended leather throughout the entire cabin. It has the wingback bucket seats, which are a work of art and so comfortable. And of course, it's a gated manual, which makes this thing super fun to row through the gears. Running costs on this is obviously much higher than the other two cars. We've had the R8 now for a year. We literally picked it up a year ago from Blackpool in November. So we've had a 1 year anniversary of the car. No issues with the car apart from an auxiliary belt squeaking, which was fixed by simply replacing the belt, which cost about £150. There's been no other issues aside from that. It's had a service, which at a specialist was £350, so that was pretty cheap. Road tax is pretty extortionate on these. You're looking at £735 per year, because obviously it's as American friends would say, it's a gas guzzling V8. Oh, it really drinks the fuel. So £735 tax. MPG wise, you're not going to see much more than 25 to 27 mpg on a run if you're taking it relatively easy. Commuting, probably around about 17 to 20 mpg, and when you're having fun in it on a B road, expect 12 to 16 mpg. The V8 is literally no really much better than the V10 version of the R8, but I prefer the V8 because it doesn't feel much slower. It is actually a lot slower to drive, but it doesn't feel it. So I get just as much fun out of the V8 version, but at the same time my license is much safer, because in the V10, to get the same fun, I do end up driving a V10 version quite a lot faster to get the same enjoyment level, at which point I'm doing some pretty naughty speeds and I'd get in serious trouble for. So yeah, for me the V8 is a winner for the fact that it delivers excitement at lower speeds. I also think the V8 sounds better all the time. Sounds beautiful at idle or if you're just cruising along at 2000 RPM, whereas the V10 sounds majestic, but generally when you're higher up the rev range. So yeah, it drinks more fuel, it's more to tax, and though I've had no issues in the first year I've had it, so actually it's cost no more in servicing and consumables than the Alpine, there is more of a risk to go wrong, and of course there's no warranty on it being a 15-year-old car. Just to touch on insurance cost, all three of these are actually very similar for me. I insure them on Admiral Multi-Car, and all three of them are about £400 per car, so about £1,200 to insure the three of them. So I think that's absolutely great value for money. We'll notice the McLaren's gone. Oh no. I will touch on as to why the McLaren's not here shortly. Then we've got our classic BMW E30, which is kind of like my toy, my thing that I like working on. Did a video recently, or actually it's not gone live yet, but it should be live before this video goes live, where I've changed out all the suspension. So any keen-eyed here who's seen videos of this car before will see now it's riding a little bit higher. That's because it was riding too low before. It was catching. It also damaged the wing when it had compressed really bad entering a car park. And not only that, the dampers were all shot as well on the old H&R Cup suspension. So the suspension got switched out. I think this car's probably locked. Let me see if the key is in here in the car, but it may not be. Nope. Let me see if we can see through the glass for you. But lots of videos again on my channel of the E30. Yo, that's me. Yeah, you probably can't see too much. But yeah, that's an E30 325i Sport. It's a genuine Sport from the factory in brilliant red. Running cost on this, well, it's a classic car, so it's about £200 to insure it. The tax at the moment, I think it's £300, but in 5 years' time, it will be tax-free, as long as the 40 rule classic car tax rule stays in place and the current government doesn't ruin that. And though nothing, well, things have broke on it, but nothing major, because I've caught them actually before they became a problem to cause a problem. So let me get back. So yeah, nothing's technically broke, but things have been nearly broken. I've done a lot of restoration work on the car, huge amount. Go and check out the videos on the channel to discover more about the work that I've done on this car in restoration and fixing problems and basically tuning it up and making it a much nicer car to drive. It's 35 years old, and yeah, and I paid £19,000 for this car. I have since probably spent £4,000 to £5,000 on it, because that's classic car life. If you want to buy a car and do it up, you're going to spend several £1,000s, and I'm not finished yet, but it drives beautiful. It's a real fun car to drive, and it drives absolutely beautiful. Didn't actually mention the R8, what I paid for the R8. The R8 cost me £36,000 last November, 29,000 miles, 2009, Audi exclusive model. It was an absolute bargain, and I won't lose a penny on that car, because if I ever do sell it, no one's getting it for less than 40k. I'll just simply keep it forever if I can't get 40,000 or more for it, because that car, well, just look at it. So yeah, that was 40 grand. This bad boy was 19 grand. Had quite a lot of money spent on it, and we'll get to the last car that's currently with us, which is actually the one I've owned the longest. I've had it, so longest withstanding in the fleet, and that is the 1978 Corvette C3 Pace Car. Had this 3 years now. Bought this car for £18,000 from a lovely chap called Norman off the Corvette forums in the UK. We'll see if we can go in, but a bit small to this garage, but as you can see, the car is immaculate. It's got all of the Pace Car decals down the side. As you see, the bonnet or the hood for US viewers is, you know, compare that to what's on the other UK cars. It's about the size of a smart car, just the bonnet. that big. So yeah, that's the 1978 Corvette Pace Car. I paid £18,000 for that. Again, don't really see it losing any money. Cost to run, it's free to tax, so there's no road tax, that's free. Insurance is about £150 a year. And though it's not had anything that would be a breakdown, again being a classic car, I have done work on it, but far less, because nothing's actually technically gone wrong with it, and it was already a pretty well sorted car when I bought it. I would say I probably put over 3 years, £3,000 to £4,000 into this car in upgrades, servicing, etc, etc. It's been incredibly nice run. Of course, fuel consumption, it's probably 10 to 15 miles to the gallon, commuting around town. On a run, we think we calculated it at low 20s. It wasn't too bad when we took it up to the Lake District and that to the lakes. It was actually reasonably decent. But it's a lovely thing to drive. It's a great event. I mean, it's not the kind of car you try to attack a B road in. It's not what it's about. It's about cruising, and it's a lovely cruiser. And of course, it's V8. It sounds incredible. And that's what differs this one apart here from the, even though there's not a big age gap between the two, you really can attack a B road in this Audi E30. For such an old car, the handling is amazing and really great fun. But I've, again, touched that on my video. So what's happened to the McLaren? Excuse me. Well, I think the McLaren, basically, I made a video of it really not long ago, maybe only about a month ago, saying actually how reliable it's been. And obviously, because I made that video, it then decided to play a joke on me. Now, there had been signs that something was going wrong before I made that video, but I assumed I'd fixed it. And I may have mentioned it in the video that I was getting stuff like the dash would like turn off and on as if you were literally unlocking and unlocking the car. So you lock the car and everything goes to sleep. And it was doing that while I was driving. Now the engine didn't stop running, which is a bonus. So the engine didn't stop running, the car would carry on driving, but the dash would turn off and would be resetting, and you'd get alarm sirens going off, etc, etc. And it would do that for a couple of minutes while I was driving, and it would calm down. So when it did it on me one weekend, I got it home, and obviously because I'm quite happy to work on cars myself, I removed all of the front storage area from the front, gained access to the battery, removed the negative terminal, and cleaned all the grounds up and just cleaned the entire area, made sure everything was clean, everything was good, put the negative back on, made sure it was really tight, etc, etc. Car seemed to be fine. We had no issues. Then it went to McLaren for a service and to have the aircon fixed. And when I got it back from McLaren, it was all fine. And we went out for a drive out to Wales with McLaren Manchester. And actually on the drive out, it started doing it again. And because it's like resetting the dash so quickly, and obviously the computers don't get a chance to initialize, meant that the airbag light would then emit and sirens would emit because it thought that there was an airbag failure. Thankfully, there was a tech on the drive with us who had the computer that can talk to the McLaren, and he gave the battery negative a quarter of a turn tighter, cleared the codes. There was never a problem again. So again, we just assumed, oh, maybe it's the negative battery playing up. So fast forward to a couple of weeks ago when I was working on the E30. I'm there doing the suspension, working away on it, and all I can hear is the McLaren clicking and clacking. So like actuating, or the throttle body's clicking. The car was locked. It was on charge, but on charge or off charge made no difference. The car was talking to itself and the sirens were going off on a locked car. At which point I got in the car, looked what was going on. Lo and behold, it's the same fault. But now it had got to a point where it weren't going away. It was just constantly clicking and clacking. So I just thought, for the safety of the car and all the ECUs, etc, etc, I disconnected the battery and left it off. I sent McLaren an email, didn't get a response, but I'll be honest, I think that they just generally missed the email. Because, say I was busy with work, I waited a week, and I sent another email, and I'd actually made a video of what was going on. I'm not going to put that in this video because it's really nasty angle, the quality's terrible. I sent it to them, they watched it, and like, yeah, that's not right. We're going to get McLaren assistants out to your home. McLaren assistants came out. He was a great guy, really knew his stuff. He went straight for the battery because he was like, yeah, the batteries have issues. And I was like, no, I'm telling you the battery's fine. I've had a multimeter on it. Voltage doesn't drop when the dash is clicking in and out. It maintains a steady 13 plus volts. Nothing wrong with the battery. And he's like, oh, I just need to check it for my MK2 GR. Yeah, no problem, fair enough. You go ahead. And he was like, yeah, okay, you know what you're doing. Battery's fine. Your earths are fine. You've clearly been in there. You've cleaned it all up. Something else wrong with the car. And I was like, well, I think it's a body module. What do you think? And he's like, nope, yeah, I pretty much agree. It probably is. One of the modules have gone down or is on its last legs. And he's like, right, so we'll get recovery organised and there will be a low loader. We'll come and get the car tomorrow. And lo and behold, 9:30 a.m, great guy came along with a perfect truck for getting a low car on. And so I got in the McLaren, drove it on his truck, again, constantly screaming, sirens, etc., etc. But it got even worse this time. This time, I drove it on the truck, parked it up. Thankfully, I was able to get the lifter up. It was a struggle. It was actually a struggle to start the car because the car was constantly resetting, which meant when I was pressing the button to start the car, it wasn't necessarily registering it was happening. Anyway, I got it started. I got it on the recovery truck. I couldn't get out of the car, which leads me to assume that actually the failed component is absolutely the body control module. The car would not let me out. I was locked in the car because McLaren doors are electronically operated. Why they can't just use a regular hinge like most other cars, I don't know, but maybe it's because of the way the doors work and they open upwards. Anyway, thankfully, McLaren do have emergency release cables for the doors, and thankfully they do work. So I was able to get out the car, and off the car went to McLaren Manchester. 2 hours later, McLaren Manchester dropped me an email, we got your car back, it's all okay, and it's done the exact same thing on us when we went to get it off the truck, and it also locked us in the car and we had to use the emergency. So like, great, I am glad it's done it, because you've seen what's been happening, and now it's really bad. So the car's with them. They've promised me a response by close of play today. I'm really hoping they confirm what I think it is, which is a body control module, and I'm hoping that the part is available from stock, and hopefully I'll have the car back maybe in a week or two. And of course, all that should be covered under the extended warranty. I'm really fearing if they start trying to say there's a problem with the battery, etc., because I don't think it's a battery issue. And if it is a battery issue, there ain't no way I'm paying the £2,500 or the £3,000 that whatever it is that McLaren want to charge for a lithium battery. If that is the case, some of you might flame me for this, but I will literally go and buy the best quality lead acid battery I can buy in the correct size. I will take it to McLaren and say, there you go, flash the car to lead acid, because McLaren can do this. If you watch videos by Thorny Motorsport, it's a procedure they do quite regular. You can flash and upgrade the car. It's only something that only their computers can do. It's not an option in any of the menus on the car, but the McLaren computer can go in and tell the car it's no longer running a lithium battery and it's now running a regular battery, which means you won't get any weird happenings. And of course that means then I can switch the battery over and I can put the absolute best quality lead acid battery money can buy, and that would probably be £200 plus whatever McLaren wish to charge. So it'd probably be an hour's labour at another £200. So call it 500 quid. But that'd certainly be a lot cheaper than £3,000 for a lithium battery that, for all we know, could go down again in a few years' time, because the problem with the lithium batteries that McLaren use, they also have a battery computer inside the battery, which is monitoring several things. And the part of the battery that generally fails in McLaren lithium batteries is not the actual battery itself, but it is actually the computer built into the battery, which cannot be changed or cannot be like repaired. You have to replace the battery. So, bit of a daft design really, but there you go. So that's why the McLaren's not here. That's why there's an empty space waiting for it to return. Of course, one of the other cars will go in there, especially now it's winter. It will be better for them. Yeah, but just to recap, that's why the McLaren's not here. Hopefully McLaren Manchester are their usual fantastic selves and really look after me, and the car gets all sorted under warranty at no cost to myself, and I'll have the car back to then enjoy for the odd dry winter's day that we get where they've not salted the roads, and for when spring and summer arrives. As I say, we do plan on doing a European tour in the McLaren next year. And I say, it's only since I posted that video saying how reliable it's been, this has happened. But McLaren, the way they went about getting the car diagnosed and recovered, I must admit, was very swift, very professional, very happy with that. Now, as long as they repair the car to my satisfaction, I'll be very happy, and it's definitely worth having the McLaren extended warranty, because I've had a new damper, other things that I've listed in that video, which probably accounts to the cost of the warranty or more. So not only has the warranty paid for itself, but it also gives a lot of peace of mind as well. I mean, you've got like £150,000 supercar in the garage. I don't want the risk that it might throw me a £20,000 or £30,000 bill out of nowhere, and I don't have a warranty to cover that. So that's the garage update, guys. That's the 5 cars. The McLaren, so I've had it 2 years now. We've done about 9,000 miles in it, and apart from this, well, I'd say quite a major issue is the fact that the car's got no idea what's going on and it doesn't want to let you out. It's reasonably major. It might only be something as simple as a body control module. Now I suspect they're probably quite expensive for McLaren, probably £1,000 or £2,000, plus the time to fit, diagnose, etc, etc. But yeah, hopefully we'll get that back and it'll continue being its great self. Hey, I'm not going to say it's any worse than any other cars. Now you've got Porsche GT3s with engines exploding. So you've got Porsche with bore scoring. My Ferrari had the DCT gearbox fail, which cost me quite a lot of money. So yeah, they're all as bad as each other. I think McLaren, it's a bit of a bandwagon thing to jump on and bash McLaren a bit harder than the other brands for whatever reason. I'm not too sure why some people feel the need to do it, but some people do. But from my experience of owning Porsches, Ferraris and McLarens, they're all just as bad as each other, and they can all be just as good as each other. As with all things, it's luck of the draw. I think if you do want a supercar that's least likely to throw you an issue, I think it's quite well known that that brand right there, Audi, Lamborghini, generally have the best reputation for most reliable supercars. But again, they can throw big bills. The DCT gearboxes can go on the more newer ones. You can get oil leaks and aircon failing, and it all can cost big money. But I want to wrap the video up there and say that is the end of my garage update of the collection of my sports cars, supercars, hot hatches, classics. I really do have a very varied mixture of cars because I buy cars that are solely for my own personal enjoyment and tick different boxes. I never buy a car to impress somebody, never. For me, it's always about my own personal enjoyment, and as you can see, I really like colours. And that's why I mean, the Yaris would be a bright colour if they were available, but they're not. So for me, precious metal is the best of a poor bunch of colours. But we've got the Alpine in fire orange, the Audi in velvet purple, BMW in brilliant red, and the Pace Car, they all come the same, which is black and silver, but it really works on that car. I'd normally avoid a black car like the plague, but that car only ever comes out when the weather's perfect. So it works on that. And of course, the McLaren is a very rare colour for 600 LT. It's volcano red. Yeah, the sun has just gone in, so we'll just do one last on the front of them all. We'll go up on the steps before the sun comes out. There we go. There's the collection. As always, thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe to the channel. It's really helping me out. So yeah, thank you, and over and out.